Hello again, I am Blunty. On the table here are three of the cheapest examples of various kinds of accessories for the Oculus Quest 3 that I could find on Amazon.com. So, grippy thingies with knuckle strap what's-a-doovers, facial interface on the silicone variety, plus a little bonus of some screen protector thingies for the cameras on the front, and this one here, which is just a dust cover for the MetaQuest 3. So, in one video we're going to cover all three because, quite frankly, they're not really complicated enough to deserve a video all of their own, are they? So, first impression of the dust cover is literally, just a bit of foam that's been sort of, thermoformed into the vague shape of the lenses. So, let's grab the Quest and see how well this fits on there. And is it going to stay on there and be an effective dust cover to protect your lenses when it's not in use? Alright, one smash cut later, here we go. Here's my Quest. Here's the dust cover thingy, and oh yeah, that actually sits in there pretty securely. It clips, just underneath the lip that's around here, and I don't think that's going to come off too accidentally. I mean, if you're traveling with this, you'd probably also have it in some other kind of protection as well, so unlikely that anything's going to be sort of doing that to it. But yeah, if it's just sitting around the home on the shelf and you're trying to keep dust off these things, or you're hanging it on a hook, because there are some VR hooks that sort of hang this thing so this bit hangs in the middle and you don't want dust collecting on there. Yeah, absolutely, I'll be using that. Seems perfectly fine to me. Next up on the table, this package here. Let's open her up. Let's see here. So, silicone facial interface thingy, which I'm not sure whether it's supposed to be. I can't quite get it to sit flat, but is it? Oh, there we go. That's the shape it's supposed to take. So yeah, let's go attach this, and then I'm going to spend like, what are we going to call it, an hour in like Beat Saber or something sweaty, and we'll see how this puts up with that. Alrighty, I'm expecting this whole rigmarole to be a bit fiddly here, so let's just see how we go. Is this going to clip in somehow? Is this come off? No, that's kind of glued in. How do we expect this to go on here? You know what? I'm going to fiddle this off camera so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, that's about as good as I can get it. It's not really very well fitted, and it feels like it's going to just fall off all the time. It doesn't grip onto anything. There's no way to clip it in anywhere or anything. And this, I'm pretty convinced this is going to be desperately uncomfortable on my nose as well. But let's give it a go. And back I come from a little session with it on there, and yes, indeed, this is very uncomfortable on my nose. It still has quite a chemically smell from the freshly molded silicone. That'll go away over time, as it always does with these things. But yeah, it was fine. I won't continue to use it. I didn't particularly like the feel of it, especially. It wasn't particularly offensive, but I'm very tactilely sensitive, and I didn't like the way this all felt. I mean, you could probably sort of trim this up with a knife or something, but would it then still fit and fall off easy? I don't know. I'm not terribly convinced by this, but it was just $14, which included the screen protectors, so if you're making an order for some other stuff, you might as well throw this in and give it a go for yourself. It's fine-ish, but if you're the type of person who uses your VR unit for legitimate workout stuff, you might want to invest in something a little bit better than this. But, if you just want to see how a silicone face gasket thingy feels for you, before you invest in something more expensive and robust, then, that would be a nice way to go as well, I suppose. Again, it's like $13, so you're not out of that much money if you decide you don't like it. Plus, also, you get the protectors for these, which, let's look at those next. How do we get into this? Knife, I need a knife. Yep. There we go. These are just some little patches of the same kind of basic plastic screen protector material you might buy for your phone or something. Same kind of thing, just stamped into a little oval for the cameras. And of course, whoops, that one nearly got away from me. 3 of them here. 2 for the pairs of cameras and 1 for the center bit, which is the depth sensor thingy. So let's attach those and make sure they're nice and clear, and they're going to protect your cameras and whatnot from scratching. I'm not sure whether these are entirely necessary or not, but considering it came free with the face gasket what's-a-dover, then they can't possibly do any harm, can they? Alright, these I am going to fit off camera because trying to put something like this on, screen protector style things on, while behind the camera is not a very smart idea, very awkward. I've done it before with phones and whatnot, and I'm just going to do it off camera and come back in a second. Alright, this part we can do on camera because it's just peeling off the final layer. One of the advantages of these, by the way, as opposed to applying a screen protector, is they're so small, you don't really get anywhere with air bubbles being trapped underneath because they're teeny tiny. So, oh, that didn't stick down very well. Let's give it a little press down. The other problem is there's not a lot of surface area here, so their adhesion is a bit suspect as well. Although I said I wouldn't get any air bubbles. I did get one in the corner there that's just caught on the lip, but you know what? It's not in front of a lens or anything, so I think I can survive with that. I might sort of readjust it a bit later if I get fussy, but just for the purposes of this. So yeah, I mean, this stuff is pretty optically clear. I'm going to put this on my head, have a little play, make sure it doesn't seem to interfere with track or anything. I don't expect it will. I mean, I've used these things with great big thumbprints on the front, and they've been fine anyway, so I can't see this being an issue. And quite frankly, you know, any protection is okay protection when it comes to this sort of stuff. If you're the kind of person who is prone to accidentally weighing the front of this thing with your controllers or something, I don't know. But, you know, again, I don't think they're strictly necessary, but cheap, nice to have, just in case. Who cares? And back we are from a short play session later. As you can see, you can kind of, I don't know what the camera can tell, you can definitely see that it's something covering the lenses, but it doesn't seem to have interfered with the function of the device, even in the slightest. So I'm just going to leave them on there until they fall off, I guess. They might fall off, they're cheap and nasty little things, but whatever. For now, they're fine. And finally, the one I am personally most interested in, these are the grip cover thingies for the controllers, which, hey, come here. Jeez, it doesn't want to open. Hey, come here. There we go. All right, so one of the things that changed with the controllers is they don't have the ring around them anymore. I used to use that ring fairly commonly. I used to sort of brace my thumb against it so I could let go of the controllers and it would balance on my thumb using the ring that ran around the controller. It was actually really handy. And it wasn't until I got these that I realized how often I do that. I mean, I knew I did it, but when I got these without the ring, I realized how often I relied on that to balance the controller just so I could open my hand up or whatever. But yeah, so these are the knuckle controllers. And one thing stands out immediately as a problem, which is the fact it does not have an opening down here. So, if you don't know, there are invisible little lights all around the outside of this thing here. They're infrared lights, so you can't see them, but the cameras in the Quest can. They're used for tracking. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, I think 5 over there, and there's another one just sort of in here somewhere, I believe. But there's also one right about there, so it can track your controller when it can't necessarily see all of those. There's one right there, and yeah, you see the problem, right? There's no hole there. So I'm going to need to find out exactly where that is and cut a hole into these for them to work reliably. I mean, it'll still track without that, but it won't track as reliably without that. So that's a big oversight on these. And you find some of the grip options that are out there already do account for that, but some have been sort of created a bit sort of fast and loose and less than... what's the word we're going to use? Less than intelligently? Less than cleverly? So I'm just trying to get the strap through here. There we go. Alright, so we can just push that straight through there. The other issue with these is no battery door. Again, on some of the other options that I looked at that were costing a little bit more than this, they had battery doors built into the grips, but the batteries on these things actually last quite a long time. So you're not going to be pulling this thing in and out of the grip constantly just to change the battery out. So not a big issue there. But yeah, it actually does fit quite nicely. It's fairly... there's a little bit of slack at the bottom there. But I don't feel like it's going to slip out of that too easily. I mean, there's not a lot of overhang on the top, but you don't want there to be because there's lights there, obviously. Again, some other ones have little cutouts all the way around that do cover the faceplates, but have cutouts for the LED lights, but this is a cheapo, fast and loose one. Right, more importantly is, actually, that is surprisingly comfortable. I had several versions of these, well, I tried 2 or 3 versions of these knuckle-style grips for previous headsets that I've owned. The original Quest and my Windows Mixed Reality one, and did I use them for the Quest 2? I don't think I ever did for the Quest 2. But yeah, I never quite found any that were super duper comfortable for me. They worked fine, but long term I didn't find them particularly comfortable. But, oh actually, you know, that's a little restrictive on reaching the trigger. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put these to use, again, like we did with Beat Saber and the silicone face cover thing. I'm going to put these to a few hours of use, and I'm going to come back and tell you how they feel, you know, when we're actually using them rather than just on the desktop here. Oh, I should also mention, I forgot, almost forgot, they also come with little doobie-doobie-doo covers for the thumb pad there as well. Let's just put this white one on there. Yep. I've had these before for, you know, my regular game controllers. I've never really liked them much, but just for the sake of the completeness of this review, there we go. Yeah, that's not quite as grippy as I like. I don't know. Do I like it better with or without? I like it better without. I do like the concave dish rather than a flat or convex that these give, so I think I'll do without those. Okay, I like these in concept only. I definitely want to try a different kind of knuckle strap controller, but these ones have a couple of issues, one of which is covering up that tracking LED that's down there. I'm not sure whether I saw any direct evidence of tracking, but it did feel, it might have been psychosomatic, but it did feel a little bit flakier in some circumstances. But again, you can just cut a hole there and solve that issue. The big issue is, though, is the positioning of this strap. It does interfere with my ability to reach the trigger. Like this right here, the way it sits just on the knuckle. If I pull it up too far so I have better finger access, it puts the controller in the wrong position so I can't reach the thumbstick properly. And if I go down here, where I can rest my thumb where it's supposed to be, it interferes with my ability to, you know, splay my finger, I guess is the right word for it, to reach the trigger comfortably. This doesn't work as intended. If you're playing a game where you don't need the trigger, like Beat Saber or something, sure, this will keep it on your hand a little bit freer, but I definitely wouldn't recommend this style of strap. You want one where this part, the top part, it connects up here somewhere, I think. You want it further up, not down here at the base of the thing. Cannot recommend these, I'm afraid. They feel fine. Like the texture is good, the fit is good. This feels pretty comfortable. You know, it's a good texture. The Velcro and everything feels pretty secure. It doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything like that. So it's a well-made thing. It's just not incredibly well designed. At least not for me. So yeah, cannot recommend those ones, I'm afraid. All right, so there we go. 3 of the cheapest versions of various commonly useful accessories to the Quest 3. Obviously, I haven't put I'm recording this bit before I do the proper testing. I just wanted to have them all on the desk here. That's harder to do with these things attached and these attached and this, you know. Video magic, editing magic. So yeah, my conclusions will be in the different part of the video, but yeah, just for the purposes of signing off the video, this is what we're talking about here. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found this useful and or interesting. There will be links in the pinned comment down below to Amazon for these. Thanks for watching. Thank you as always to the Patreon scrolling up above there. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.